What's going on, everybody? Nathan Barna here. Today I wanted to introduce somebody special to me and to all of you guys. And you should be pretty familiar with this person or this entity. And he or she is the pain teacher. Now, I'm sure most of you are familiar with pain in one form or another, whether it's physical pain or emotional pain or even spiritual pain that a lot of us experience, whether or not we realize it. And I want to introduce the pain teacher because it is a very important concept that has not only helped me in my development, but is also very important when I'm working with others during the coaching process. Now, the pain teacher can, as I've stated, it can show up in many different forms. It can be a physical injury that you've sustained, or a chronic injury that you're dealing with. It could be pain from a relationship, pain from a job, pain from the angst about not knowing who or what it is that you want to be or where you're trying to go. It could be the pain of not having a clear sense of direction, a clear sense of purpose in your life. It doesn't matter where that pain is coming from. It can show up in any of these different formats. And the important thing about the pain teacher is that instead of trying to run away from it anytime that it tries to show up in your life, instead of going to the doctor so that you can cut it out or get prescribed medication that can numb it, it's important to engage with the pain teacher and figure out what is there trying to teach you, because it is a teacher after all. So when you engage with it, you can start to ask yourself and start to dig deeper into what the underlying causes of your pain are, what the issue is that needs to be addressed. But when you numb it, then you allow yourself to continue doing what you've been doing that created the pain, and there's no growth in that. And that's ultimately what we're trying to do and what this is all about. We're trying to grow and evolve and create the best version of ourselves. So inevitably you're going to come across the pain teacher, but you want to use it as a tool in your growth. It's not always going to be, sunshine and rainbows on this process. You're going to stub your toe, you're going to fall down, you're going to scrape your knee up, and it's important not to try to numb that. So engage with it and ask again, what can I learn from this situation? If it's a physical injury, if you're an athlete and you hurt yourself, instead of trying to go to a doctor or a physical therapist just to fix your problem and get you out of pain, although that might be a necessary step. I'm not saying that you want to perpetually increase the pain in your life or put yourself in situations to purposely give you pain, but you do want to take a step back and look at what areas may have created the imbalance that created the manifestation of the pain. So again, if you're an athlete and you've got injured, was it because you weren't paying attention to your body during the training cycle? Was it because you weren't taking enough time to warm up? Was it because you weren't paying attention to your sleep and your nutrition and you were allowing your body to deteriorate and not just, lack of proper self-management? If it's an emotional pain, is it from a relationship? Is that a cue for you to look at yourself within the relationship and see what parts of yourself might be contributing to issues in the relationship? Or is it a cue that you might need to remove yourself from the relationship, or at least find a safe distance for you to engage with that person? Find a safe distance to express your love from that person, even if that means, to completely eliminate contact with that person, if that's the safe distance for you. Or does it mean that you just need to work on the relationship itself? And if you're in pain because of a financial situation, does that mean that the job that you're in isn't making the money that you want it to? Or does that mean that you need to find a new job? Does that mean that you need to acquire a new set of skills, or further develop your skills so that you can get a higher paying job? Or does that mean that you need to create your own job doing something that you love? And that kind of ties into the spiritual pain, which I feel like many of us in our modern society are dealing with, especially at this critical point in history where so much of what we identify ourselves with, as far as our occupation, or just the daily habits that we created with ourselves, kind of getting stripped away and being told to isolate ourselves at home, and being laid off, or having, not being able to work. So really having the time and, to sit down and think about if the direction that you're heading, or if what you're doing is what you ultimately want to be doing with your life. I know this is something that I've come across many times, and it's why I'm here right now, because I've had those experiences where I've had to question myself and had to deal with the pain of realizing that what I was doing was what other people wanted me to do and what I thought I was supposed to do, rather than what it was that I truly wanted to do, what my heart was calling towards, and what I was passionate about, and what the legacy that I wanted to leave behind. So that's a big source of pain for a lot of people, and I think that's one of the biggest things that we try to numb out in our society with the many different vices and addictions that we create for ourselves, whether it is working harder so that you don't have to face the reality that you're not working towards something that is actually going to bring fulfillment and meaning, whether it's an addiction to exercise, because it's another common one that people fall into, and obviously there's worse addictions in the world, but still an addiction is any one of these things that you're repeatedly doing that's not moving you closer to where it is you want to be, or anything that you repeatedly do that isn't giving you the results that you want. So if you continue to partake in a certain activity just to distract yourself from actually making the decisions and making the moves and taking the actions that you need to take to move in the direction that you want to head, that would be, a method of numbing yourself from that pain. And that's really the whole concept I'm trying to drive here. And the point of this is that a lot of times when we are presented with the pain teacher, our first instinct is to run away or to victimize ourselves. And I want to develop this concept and help you guys see that instead of trying to run or numb, that you have to welcome the pain in your life and realize that it's a necessary part of the experience of life. And pain is the quickest way to increase your level of awareness and increase your consciousness. When you stub your toe, immediately your attention goes to your toe. Immediately your consciousness goes to that area that hurts. The same is true to all the other forms of pain in your life. It helps you to immediately bring awareness to that point. But what you decide to do with that is what's going to determine if you grow from that pain, or if you create a distraction or create a numbness for yourself so that you don't have to face it, so that you can continue to do the same things that brought it to you in the first place. It's that whole saying that if you have a rock in your shoe, you can, there's one side that says to take a pain med so that you don't feel it anymore, or which is the equivalent to what a lot of us do when we face pain. Or you can, sit down and take the time to take your shoe off and to take the rock out so that you don't have to deal with that pain, and so that you can learn maybe to watch your footing next time, or evaluate the terrain better so that you don't get the rock stuck in there in the first place. And when I'm working with people, part of the process is helping them get out of the mindset that they need help, that they need somebody to fix them. Because usually, we have this mindset that we go to a doctor or a therapist because we want to just lay down on the table and we want to be fixed. We want our problems to just disappear. We want to pay somebody to just make our problems magically go away. But my job as a coach is to show people that there's not something wrong with them because they're having these issues, because they're having these problems, whether it's with their physical health, or their mental, emotional health, or their spiritual health. My job as a coach is to allow them and give them the permission and be a source of support so that they can have the courage to move in to that discomfort and see what the pain teacher is trying to show them. And, show them that the whole idea of health isn't so that you don't have any more illness, or isn't so that nothing hurts. Being healthy isn't the absence of pain. Being healthy is having a relationship with the pain, with the bad or the evil or whatever label you want to put on that negative aspect of life. Being healthy is having a relationship, a positive relationship with the negative, so that you can continue to move forward and continue to learn from those experiences. So as you're moving through life and as you're going along this journey, I hope that you all use the pain in your life to bring awareness to the areas that may need to be further developed, or that you may need to take a harder look at and get down to the root cause of what's causing your pain, and then addressing that pain holistically so that you can learn from it and engage with it and use it as an opportunity to grow yourself as a person. Because that's ultimately what this is about. We're all spiritual beings having this experience, and our job is to use these different circumstances in our lives to grow ourselves, to actualize ourselves, to discover more and more of what we truly are, and ultimately grow our level of awareness and grow our level of consciousness, so that we can be better suited to, reestablish the connection with the whole that is everyone and everything. And, kind of grow away from the illusion that we are separate from everyone and everything. And through that, that's how we can create meaningful impacts in this world and, create a better life, not only for ourselves, but ultimately for everyone. And that's why all of this is so much deeper than just being an athlete, because yes, it's cool to be strong and fast and powerful and, lift the most weight out of everyone in the world. That is definitely a worthwhile endeavor that I am on personally, but I know that there's a deeper reason to it. And I know that in order to get to that level, at least on my own personal journey, I have to move through all of these other obstacles that are in the way that may not even be related to lifting. But each obstacle I overcome, each obstacle that I engage with and that I use as an opportunity for my own personal development, the more that I can grow, and the more that I can grow, the better I become as a person, and the better I'm able to handle whatever situations life throws at me. And ultimately, the better I'm able to guide others and be a source of inspiration and knowledge and wisdom, so that I can continue to bring value and ultimately leave this world a little better than I found it. So I hope this helps. Use the pain teacher, engage with the pain teacher, learn, grow, evolve. I'll talk to you guys next time.